Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Tins&Gins, episode 6. You are joined by the wonderful Daxter, Mrs. Beard, and myself, Perception. And this is where we drink and we talk about whatever topics people have put into the Discord. And we like to have a lot of fun while doing so. If we can, a serious debate will be had. So, yeah, that's about it. So,
Thanks, Perception.
we'll get
So,
into questions.
as you may notice, we have a guest on the show. Beardy isn't here. This is Beardy's wife, and we don't know her name, so to us, she's Beardy's wife, and that's fine. So, Beardy's wife, if you want to introduce yourself, as you did to us already, just so we have it on the YouTube videos.
Okay, I am Beardy's wife. I also go by Tina. That's my, I guess, my legal name. I'm a bartender, and we live in New Jersey. And yeah, that's about it.
Cool. Grant, so I'm going to go start digging into the questions anyway. There's quite a few questions that I'm going to skip over just because there's actually one here like why do farmers paint barns red? I'm sure there's actually a reason as to why that is the way it is. So we can't really give an opinion on those questions, or we just look like idiots answering them, which is probably entertaining, but we'll go past it for now. So the first question I'm going to go on is I suppose the first actually serious one, of course, it's fucking sexually related. Oh Christ! And what causes sexual chemistry between two people?
Alcohol?
Alcohol? Yeah, sure. Look, you're with Beardy, so definitely alcohol. Yeah. As she takes a big swig.
Oh, maybe it's done already. I drank most of the bottle.
Perception? Do you have an opinion on
it? Well, drink could probably be one thing, but I'm sure people who don't drink also get together.
Yeah, but what, like, sexual chemistry, obviously, like, why do people, I suppose the question is, like, why are people sexually attracted to each other? I don't know. I'm sure there is actually maybe there is some actual chemistry to it. I don't know.
I'd know.
Instinct? Primitive?
Yeah, I'd go with, like, lust, an inherent thing that we don't understand, where, like, humans are like, I gotta fuck.
Yeah, well, like, if you think about it, that's like the main thing with humans is that, like, you're supposed to be breeding. So, like, yeah, it's just a natural thing. It's biological, yeah, as Bag said in chat. It's a biological thing, so, like, I suppose we can't give much of an opinion on that one. Yeah, Roxy, I skipped loads of questions because one of them, if a poisonous snake bit your dick, what would you do? I don't think Beardy's wife can't really give an interesting
I couldn't
input
give
on that. Yeah,
well, we could just change dick to vagina on that one. It's still genital.
I don't know, Kev. I don't know, Kev.
Well, why would you let a snake get that close to begin with?
This is true.
I mean, I wouldn't.
Like, I don't think, like, women in general would be stupid enough to get that close to a snake, but men definitely are.
I can see men being stupid enough to do that.
To get bit in the dick? Oh,
yeah, to pull out their dick in front of a snake. I can totally see a man doing that, but I don't. I just
watch me jerk off and show dominance in front of this snake.
Like, did you ever see, like, there's probably loads of videos, but, like, some, like, say, like, Indian dude just in a pit full of snakes. And it's like cobras and shit, and he's just picking up and, like, fucking them behind. Like,
I seen this, yeah. And then one of the snakes, like, comes up to him and he just, like, he just slaps it. He's like, get the fuck away from me.
Get the fuck out of here.
Okay, so our first kind of serious question is, why is it considered unacceptable to piss in the sink?
I suppose
I would think it'd be more inconsiderate to piss in a bathtub. I think that would be more disgusting.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
As in when you're in the bath?
Yeah, like, you know, when you're in the shower, sometimes people piss in the shower.
Would you think that's more disrespectful than pissing in the sink?
Yes.
Why?
Because you're physically in the shower.
Yeah, but, like, if you and Beardy are showering together, yeah, I understand if Beardy starts pissing when you're in the shower with him, that's pretty disrespectful. But just say he's in the shower on his own. Would you find it weird if he pissed in the shower?
Yeah, I think that's gross.
And why?
I'd rather someone piss in the sink because my body isn't in the sink. My hands go underneath the faucet, but my hands aren't physically touching the sink. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
In the sink
Say again?
and that, like the dishes would touch the bottom of the
No,
sink.
we're not talking about. I don't think we're talking about like sink in the kitchen. I think it's a bathroom sink we're talking about.
Yeah, that's what I was assuming. Bathroom sink, yeah.
Okay, but like even in the bath, like when you say bath, like do you mean like empty bath or not like someone's taking a bath after me, I'm going to piss in it.
I just think it's gross. Like in general, like if there's no water, even if there's like an empty bath and you're just getting in and pissing, I think that's disgusting. You have to go in there and stand and shower.
You can
Well, if
still
you just
wash
aim
it
for the
away.
hole.
I don't know. I think it's more appropriate to piss in a sink than the bath than.
I'd be the opposite. I think pissing in the shower is fine. I think if somebody else is in the shower with you, pissing in the shower is probably a bad idea.
Not if
But
someone's with you. Nah.
I don't know. Maybe if they're into that. Maybe.
No.
There's only one way to find out, perception.
Let's go. I know. I don't like baths anyway because I consider baths to be just like stewing in your own filth. You're not really getting clean. But like they do help clean you, but like you're still like sitting in like what you're just after
Yes.
washing away.
Yeah, you're nasty. Yeah,
So
I get it.
prefer to get a shower. But like if you got a shower and then hopped into the bath to like relax your muscles and everything, that's fine.
Yeah,
But,
I shower or not shower, sorry, I bath, like I bathe once a year, and it's just loads of Epsom salt, just to fucking relax me.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't do it often.
But it's not like old school. Like I don't know about you, but like we had to share baths when I was younger because
Just
like,
fucked in the bath with my sister.
yeah, basically, and you had to share the water or whatever. Like when you got bigger, they'd take a bath and then you'd have to get a bath afterwards, and you're like, you have to use the same bath water because you can't be wasting it because it's.
I pissed in that.
Bath. And you're like, oh god damn it. You didn't think it was too bad because you were a child, but like once you got older and you started considering these things, you're like, that's nasty.
Yeah. Okay, moving on swiftly. Do you brush your teeth in the shower? If not, why not?
Counterproductive in my mind.
How? How is it count?
Well, I know you could get it done at the same time, like if you're done like differently, but like for one, you'd be wasting a lot more water if you were to brush your teeth in the shower, unless you're going to like brushing your teeth and washing your hair, your balls, or fucking wherever at the same time. But like you'd probably get like some of the suds and that into your mouth, which would also be bad. But I don't know. I couldn't imagine doing it at the same time. I'd have to shower and then brush my teeth, or vice versa.
One strange thing about brushing your teeth, if you think about like what's something that's completely normal, but if you did it in public, everyone would be like, what the fuck is that person doing? Brushing your teeth. Like brushing your teeth is perfectly normal, but if you were walking down the street and somebody was just brushing their teeth walking past you, it's like, what the fuck is that person doing? And it's completely normal.
There are some guys that do that though. There's one guy that's at the NBA finals every single year. Some like just like big burly black dude. And you'll see him there and he's just like he has a toothbrush in his mouth the whole time and he'll just be like brushing away like while it's being played. And nobody says a thing, they're just like, oh yeah.
I brush my teeth in work the whole time. Like after I finish my lunch, I just take a toothbrush out of my desk and just brush my teeth. Budgie's seen me the whole time doing it. But I don't know, it's just something I do. What's your opinion, Mrs. Beardy?
I would not brush my teeth in the shower. No, I think that's. I guess force a habit. I'm just used to doing it in the sink, so I think.
Bag made a good point.
Weird.
If you're having a warm shower, warm water while brushing your teeth would be strange.
Yes, I feel like it would.
Yeah, gotta be cold water.
Okay. You brush your teeth after lunch? Yeah, I do. I brush my teeth the whole time. The only reason I brush my teeth constantly is because, as you know, I had aligners and now I use retainers every night. But I spent like $4,000 on my teeth, so I just want to keep them fucking as clean as possible. So next question then is, oh, this is a good one. If you were on death row, what would your final meal be? You can have a 3-course meal and a drink. So this is for people who don't know. When you're on death row, you actually do get to choose your final meal. I don't know if it's a 3-course meal, but you do get to choose what you have.
I think it's within reason.
Yeah, within reason. I think it has to be within like $35, $40, something like that.
So that's not much of a last meal.
Yeah, that's not very much. That's
Like if you're going to die, like in a couple of.
Listen, I don't fucking know. I just pulled that number out of my hole. I don't know what the number is.
Then again, it is taxpayers' money. So would you be like, fuck him, $35 meal would do me when I go out?
Yeah. Beardy's wife, we're starting with you.
Yeah.
What would your final meal be?
I don't know. That's tough. It would definitely be something seafood. So it'd either be like lobster tail or something like shrimp scampi or spaghetti and crabs. Something along those lines. Something definitely seafood. Definitely seafood.
Actually, Mux made a good point. Get a 12-pack of cans and just drink them all and be locked when you're getting killed. Well, that's like the day before, so you'll probably be sober going in, which is unfortunate. I don't know what I'd like.
I wonder if you have to fast before you.
I don't think so. Not with like lethal injection or anything like that.
But on Mrs. Beardy's note, I would have never thought of seafood because I've never properly had seafood because we're like too inland. The only time I ever want to try seafood is if I go to an actual coastal region and I know it's fresh.
Oh.
You probably would be in. Would you be in New Jersey?
Yeah, we live like 40 minutes from the Atlantic Ocean.
Okay.
Yeah.
Grand.
So seafood around here is easy to come by.
Yeah, of course. I don't know what I'd like. Welcome, Slayer. I need to fix this alert, by the way, that pops up for new followers. It's way too big. I need to make it smaller. It's ridiculous. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a clue what I'd like. I have no idea. I don't know if I'd like a steak. That's one thing. I never order steak when I go out to eat.
Ooh.
Because
I order steak if I have money.
I never order steak because I'm like, it's something I can just make at home. Now, saying that, I know the steaks they make are really nice. And when I do actually get steak once in a blue moon, it's usually really nice. But I was like, when I go out and I'm paying for food, I want to get something that I can't make myself at home. You know, so it feels special or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Nice carbonara. Can't beat carbonara.
Carbonara is great. I made that yesterday.
Yeah.
It's a sauce dish to me.
Anyway, okay, we're kind of running out of sauce on that one, so.
Let me see. Okay.
Next question. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Perception.
Right. God. Come on. For starters, I think I'd have potato, leek, and butternut squash soup.
Oh man.
A Wagyu filet mignon done mid-rare. For dessert, a freshly made tiramisu, and a drink. Oh, I suppose within reason. This isn't going to be $35. I'm an expensive
A
inmate.
Wagyu steak filet mignon, and then he says, "Oh, the drink within reason." Like, what the fuck?
I think. Oh, give me a nice brandy.
Good brandy. Yeah, I like a good gin and tonic before I go. Would be savage.
Top tier Hennessy on ice.
Okay, next question is good. It's from Darth Smash. Do you believe forgiveness is given, earned, or both?
Earned.
Perception?
I'd go earned. It's definitely within reason. It depends on what you're supposed to be forgiving. Is it low tier? Is it high tier? It has to be earned in some respect, but like if it's really low, you could just like wait a while and be like, yeah, no, I forgive you. It was just stupid.
Yeah, I think it depends on the situation. If it's like a relationship or something like that, I think it needs to be earned. But I think it can be given in some situations as well. Like what I said before is, people who like go through like an acid attack or something, acid thrown in their face. And it was an accident, it was the wrong person, but they're like scarred for life. And then 10 years later, they can actually say, I forgive that person. And that person's like bad for like throwing acid in their face. But if they're able to do that, it has to be given. That person didn't earn the right to be forgiven. Like it was given to them.
Well, there's
Mm.
like people that forgive, like, you know, if they have family members that got murdered, they go to the, I don't know if you ever follow, like, I'm a big true crime person, so I like to watch all like these
Yeah.
murder shows and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I always watch, and like the victims get up and they talk about how they forgive so and so or whoever it is for killing their husband or
Yeah.
their child, or, you know.
So in
And
that
I'm
case,
like,
it has to be given because there's no way that person earned the forgiveness.
right.
You know?
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, I personally couldn't do that, so.
Yeah, but I think it
wouldn't-
depends on the situation as well. So it depends on the people that are involved.
Yeah, I guess it does depend on the situation and what happens.
Strange. Beardy's getting away with murder.
If it's on the upper echelon, I'd know that I'd find personally that whoever it was on the other end would have to work for it. Depend on, like, if it was on the more serious side. Like, if someone like acid attacked me, I'm kind of a grudging person. I won't lie. I can hold a grudge. So depending on what it is, I'd take that to the grave.
Okay. I think it's given. I think it's both, as I said. So depends. Okay, so next question is this is the most serious question we have tonight, and Beardy's wife, you can be on this as well. Big ass with no tits or big tits with no ass?
You're just gonna be that.
Yeah, come on. Like, this is serious. This is the question that's going to divide the chat tonight.
I mean, I don't know, I guess. Well, I mean, back in the, I want to say the 90s, maybe? Or 80s, it was big tits, no ass. And now it seems like it's the opposite. Everyone wants big ass and no tits.
It's not that they don't want no tits, but if they had the choice, yeah.
Right, they want the ass instead of the tits.
Perception?
I'd probably have to go big ass and no tits.
Same.
If I was to follow like any of my previous encounters, I would have to say big ass and no tits.
My man Perception. Right, so 3 of us are in agreement then. No
ass. Big thighs lead to big ass.
Yeah, it's very rare you see somebody with big thighs without an ass. Maybe.
True.
I don't know. Anyway, moving on. Where are we? Does heavy drug / alcohol use help artists to be more creative? Definitely. Like, we can't really give an opinion on that, but I believe so, definitely. If you take a bunch of acid and then look at the look at the art that people make on acid, it's fucking insane.
Fine. How many questions did you skip?
I skipped a lot of deaths ones because they were questions like, oh, there's actually a good one there. Has any human ever been successfully raised by animals? Like, I don't know the answer to that. Like, that actually has an answer.
Sorry, you didn't skip anyway. I skipped over fucking Ever's picture. I didn't know that was.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's a proper question.
I love it. Avatar also, nice one. But yeah, sorry. Back to the question. Does heavy drug alcohol use help artists to be more creative? I would say yes. I'm a yes voucher on that.
Yes, I think so too.
Okay, we're all in agreement. Nice.
The 70s had some of the best music, and that's when all the heavy PCP and all that kind of stuff went down. So.
Oh yeah.
Like, if you look at like any of the most favorite, like, the biggest artists like in history, like they've done the rock star lifestyle, so they've all done like heavy drug and alcohol use, and they continue to make that amazing music throughout their career until their inevitable death. Like, whether it's like the right time or predated, I think that stands up to something. The same could probably be said for artists and stuff like that. I don't know, like, if Van Gogh tripped a lot, man cut off his own ear, but I'm good at what he done.
I think definitely. I'm not going to say like it improves your art, but I'm sure it gives you like a perspective on art and a different vision that you'll never get if you were sober.
Yeah.
So I think it leads to like very abstract paintings.
Yeah, I'd say even music. I've come up with better riffs messing around on guitar and that while stoned than while not stoned, for sure.
Okay, next question is: what was your first big purchase? Something that you couldn't afford, and it made you, it made you feel, oh yeah, this is big, when you were buying it.
Oof.
Beardy's wife has an interesting one. What's interesting answer? Go ahead.
My boobs.
Oh yeah, and that was literally, wow, these are big. For me, it was probably my my car. Like a lot of people are going to say that, but that was my biggest purchase. Perception's dying.
I was caught off guard. That was a good one.
It's the truth.
It's some pricey shit. How expensive is that, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, this was in like 2005, 2004, and I think it was like 5,600 at that time.
Ooh.
Mhm.
And like, does that like depend on like how like much of a cup you're going up to, or is it just like a flat price the whole way?
No, I mean, if you want to go to a hack job, you're gonna pay cheap. You're gonna pay like $2,300. But if you pay $2,300, you're gonna get lopsided tits. You're gonna get one that's up here and one that's down here, or you're gonna get them there where they're underneath your armpits. If you want good boobs, then you're gonna pay good money. It all depends on the doctor.
Okay.
I suppose in that case, this is one of the very few things that the price actually does dictate the quality. Because sometimes you buy something online that might be like €10 and it's actually like really, really good quality. I'm sure boob jobs are not the same. I'm sure you actually pay a lot of money for people who have the experience. So
yeah, over here you pay for experience, not for
the job.
Yeah, right. Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Perception, what was your big purchase?
Oh God. It wasn't a big purchase, but I guess the first time I moved out, I suppose it'd be more of a series of purchases more than anything else. When I started renting my own place, when I was actually living alone, that felt big, like really big to me, because I like being in my own space, and like I could have people say like, "Oh yeah, you can come up whenever," but I could tell them like, "Yeah, you can fuck off. I'm in my own time right now." So
Yeah.
that was a big thing for me. I'd say other than that, it was probably like you, my first car. Like
Yeah.
you're buying like an independence that you never knew before.
Yeah, even though like my second car I bought was more expensive, but buying my first car just felt like, oh shit, this is big, So yeah, that was that. Next question. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Can I elaborate on the car thing?
Yeah, sure.
It's not really, it's more of like a story. It's more of like a fun fact.
Okay.
So, fun fact, I bought myself a nice little BMW, and then Beardy made me trade it in so that he could buy himself a truck. And he gave me his beat up white car that he sideswiped a SEPTA bus with, a public bus. So he gave me that. He made me trade in my BMW, and he bought himself a brand new pickup truck. I still haven't gotten over. I still have not gotten over that.
Yeah, Beardy, sound lad, very sound.
I still haven't. When he drove that car out of our driveway, I cried. I cried. I've never had and I consider that a nice car, a BMW. I think you would consider that a nice car too. I've had Fords and Chevys. I got myself a nice BMW. It was used, but it was nice. And yeah, he made me sell it so that he can get himself a brand new pickup truck. I still haven't forgotten that one, as you can tell.
Beardy. Beardy, how much inches did that pickup truck add to your dick? Do you mind me asking? Wait, I got the BMW, he said?
No, he didn't get the BMW. That's lying. He claims that he got it because of it was when I purchased it. It was from income tax money from having the kids, but it was the income tax money came in my name. So he likes to claim that it was his money.
Oh, this is getting deep. Beardy, I have a different view on you, you fucking cunt. What would you like somebody to say about you? So if Mrs. Beardy, just say I was to talk to Perception after this, and I was like, oh, Mrs. Beardy is very... What would be something that you'd actually like to hear that somebody said about you?
What do you mean, me? What someone says about me?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Perception?
I don't know.
God, I don't know. I don't take compliments well.
Neither do I, but I think one of the best things you can hear is like if somebody says you're genuine. I think that's something that I'd like to hear being said about me.
Yeah. I think.
James, this is Tins and Gins. What the fuck do you think we're doing? Deep question. Deep.
Oh, thank you, princess.
Perception. Focus.
Did she was saying nice things to me? I can't just let that by. God, I suppose probably the same. Something like generally just saying like, even like they were nice or whatever is not. I don't know. I'd what'd you like someone to say about you?
Mrs. Beardy, do you have anything yet?
I don't know. I have nice hair. I don't know.
You have lovely hair, Miss Beardy. Oh, it's something about your character versus looks.
Oh, damn, I was going to say, if someone said your hair isn't thinning as bad as you think it is.
Hey, your bald patch is going away. Yeah, I prefer, but like genuine person, I think that's something that I'd like to be said about me. Okay, should we move on? Okay, so Bag, this was aimed at Beardy, but I think you can kind of give good input on this. This is from Bag. You are three manly men. You discuss how manly you are talking in relation to each other on different topics. What does being manly even mean these days? What does it mean to be a man? I don't know how to answer this question. Like what is manly? Like I think if you look up the dictionary definition of manly, I think it's something that's associated with traditional values of men. So courage, bravery, stuff like that. That's manly by definition. But being manly,
that seems to change like
not being a fucking dick.
Every couple of generations. Like the definition of manly, like what manly means now is quite different to what it meant 50 years ago.
Yeah.
Where like men with a feminine look can still be considered manly.
Well, manly back in like the 50s could be go to work for your wife stays at home, you get the money for the family. Like that's the way it was back then. That could have been considered manly, whereas now that's not manly. That's just normal. You know?
Yeah. Like a man doesn't wear like casual clothing, he wears a suit and whatever, drinks fine alcohol. If the dog has to be put down, he'll go out and he'll boom. That type of way.
Yeah,
But
maybe not having feelings back in the day as a man was manly. Not talking about your feelings wasn't considered manly, whereas now talking about your feelings, I think, is considered more manly than not talking about it.
And I suppose caring about looks. If you care about your look now, you'd be considered like more manly, like lads that like take like real good care of their beards and their face and everything, but they're like jacked or whatever. But you could be like back in the day and you could have a dad bod, just big grizzly fucking beard, messy hair, and you're like,
Yeah.
that's a man.
Yeah, I suppose.
Or jack looking shit. Beardy in different clothing.
Any input, Mrs. Beardy?
I don't know. I don't know. I
Yeah.
guess just someone who's like, big and tall, like, as opposed to like, I don't know, I guess someone who goes out and does like physical labor and does like
lumberjack. No,
right,
that's
like
manly.
Right.
Mechanic,
as opposed to someone who like is, I don't know, an artist.
Yeah.
I'm not an artist. It's fine. Okay, so that's ours.
Yeah, you're a nerd.
Good question here. If you die, just say you died early in life, you got married, would you like your partner to remarry? I'm going to start this one off and say yes. Well, if they're happy not remarrying, that's fine. But if they're not happy and remarrying or finding somebody else and being with them would make them happy, I'd prefer that. I don't want them to be fucking miserable.
It would depend on how old we were. Like, if we're like well into like or like 60s or 70s, maybe I'd be like,
Yeah, but just say the
I don't know how
40s, something like that.
you don't got long left either. Um, oof. No, if we're younger, if we were a young married couple, say like in our 30s, 40s, I'd probably want them to get remarried as well, because that's a long time to go alone and like grieving and like, or maybe even like say grieving, going like, oh, I can't like marry another man or be intimate with another man. It's just like life's too fucking short for that. Do your thing. Be happy.
Mrs. Beardy, you're the one. Now, just say you died in a car crash tomorrow. Let's hope this doesn't happen. Would you just say there was a heaven and you could look down on Beardy living his life? Would you like to see him move on?
I guess it would depend, because I have 2 kids, so if he did move on, as long as like the person was like good to my kids, you know what I mean?
Yeah, okay.
If she was a complete bitch and treated my kids like second-class citizens, I would like haunt her in her dreams. I would haunt her every waking moment of her life. But so yeah, it would depend on if it was like a decent person or not. Then yes.
That's another very good layer to consider, though. I wouldn't have even thinking
exactly. I
kids at
wouldn't
the
have
same.
thought about my kids.
Yeah,
But that's because we don't have kids, so
Mhm.
it's not the first thing that comes to our head perception. Whereas Mrs. Beardy,
Yeah.
obviously,
Mhm.
priority for her and Beardy, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Cool, nice. How long would you last in complete isolation? I don't know. I can't answer that until it happens.
Apparently there is like a scientific thing that like if you're in complete isolation, like it depends on how far you want to get into it. If you have like if you're in isolation where you don't actually have anything to keep your head entertained, rather say like far from board games or whatever, but you don't have any other stimulus, like within a week and a half max, you are gone insane.
It's like cabin fever, kind of, no?
Yeah, very very similar, because like cabin fever is basically like isolation, and if you were to add in another variant as well, like you had no windows, so you didn't know day and night apart from each other. You just knew just the times you were awake and the times you weren't awake. That's like supposed to be nearly like irreparable to your head to try keep contained and keep sane for that amount of time. But if you're just alone, but you're able to say like go on like PC, guitar, whatever kept you sane, I think you could go a good few months, maybe depending on how strong your will is, maybe a few years. But I don't
Yeah.
think any more than that. People need like other people, human contact. And if you're that like way inclined where you're like, nah, I don't need people, you'll eventually get to the stage of, well, I would like some people in my life.
Definitely, yeah. No, I
That's the way.
agree. Then you get people who are like hermits and they never leave their house and they're like that for like 20 years. So
Yeah, but they're crazy.
I know, but they can last. It depends. Is Evers talking about how long you last, like while maintaining a sane mind, or like just being alive? Mrs. Beardy, do you think you do well in isolation?
I don't know. I mean, yes and no. I think that I would do all right, but I don't think that if we're talking like not no windows and not knowing day from night, I don't think I would do good in that situation. No.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know how long I'd last if it was just like, stuck in a room and that was it, and you had nothing. Literally just like a box.
Yeah,
I wouldn't last long. But if there was
yeah,
something
me
like,
neither.
if I had a treadmill, some weights, I had like a computer that I could play games on, I'd last for ages.
Yeah, same here.
Okay, oh, this is a great one. What are your thoughts on euthanasia / assisted suicide? Anyone?
Oh, I'm all for it. Within reason. If I think like if someone has like a debilitating disease that's going to tremendously shorten their life and their way of life and leave them in a position where they won't be able to piss or shit for themselves or bathe themselves and they'll always need someone to wash them. If they were in sound mind and they wanted to sign some form of agreement contract and say that when the time comes when my life is debilitated to such an extent that I could be euthanized, I think that's that's okay. I think you should be able to do that and end it on your own terms, because with some diseases like Parkinson's, PSP, things like that, when it goes too far, it's draining on the family, and oh, it's a horrible thing to see. So
I agree.
yeah,
Like, I know a lot of people are going to say euthanasia should only be allowed for people who have terminal illnesses that, they are going to die. But just say somebody was in a car crash and they were paralyzed from the waist down and they felt like they just couldn't live their life anymore. It was just everything they knew was gone and they just weren't happy. In that case, would you say euthanasia is fine?
I think so.
You think so? Yeah.
No, I don't think
Oh,
so.
you don't think so? Why?
Mm-mm. I don't. I have a hard time putting a pet down, so I couldn't imagine putting another human down.
But the thing is, you're not putting somebody down. Like, all you do is you give them the medicine and they take it. It's their
Yeah.
choice.
Yeah, no, I don't. I don't know. I don't think so.
could you say your bit again, Dax?
If it was a terminal illness, I'm sure a lot of people would be for euthanasia, as in they're going to die. It's just, a matter of time, so they might want to end it early to, be happy rather than getting to the point where they're deteriorating, becoming way more ill. But just say somebody was in a car crash and they were paralyzed from the waist down and they just felt like they couldn't live their life anymore, as in they could live until they're 80 or 90. But in their own mind, they were like, I can't do what I want to do anymore. I can't run. I was a runner. I can't do any of that. So I don't want to live this life anymore. I want to be euthanized.
That's a gray area.
I think it's a
I'm
grey area as well. I have no idea. I don't have an opinion on that area.
I don't know where I'd stand on that area either, to be honest, because there's a lot of people who are like in similar situations, and I know it'd be like a tough life to lead. Well, I shouldn't say I know, but I'd be aware that it would be a tough life to lead, depending on what your previous circumstances was. But other people have led good lives from it as well. Just that it'd be difficult not having your own independence and having to rely on other people, but at least you still have your mind, rather where other people would have like the terminal illness, like their mind deteriorates along with them, but you'd still have full capacity. Like even think of fucking not Einstein, fucking Hawking. He he couldn't use his body, he could only use his mind, and that only got sharper nearly over time. It's a grey area. I don't know.
I think people who
I
are
really
like paralyzed and stuff like that, I think, sad as it is, I think it's just you need time to accept it. I think enough time you will accept this is the way it is. I'm going to try and make the most out of it. But getting to that point could take a while. And maybe if you
yeah.
made a choice in that early stage of, hey, I hate this, it might be a bad idea because another year down the line, something amazing could happen. And you're just like, this is the way it is. I'm happy. That's that.
No, death raises a good one here. Who's more selfish? The paralyzed man who wants to die because he's paralyzed, or his family who still has him in their life and wants him to be alive? That's a big old toughie right there. You could go either way depending on your own stance, but I I I don't know where I lean on it to give a definitive opinion on either or.
Beardy's wife. Any opinions so far?
Yeah,
Or
yeah, it's a gray area for me too. I know it can go either way.
yeah, like unfortunately, I think it's going to be a law in a lot of countries, just the same way cannabis is becoming illegal. I wouldn't be surprised if eventually euthanasia becomes a thing. So
Like, I think for the most part, I think it should become a thing, but when it gets down to things like this, that's where it's going to be like really tough. But like if it comes down to like a terminal illness, I think
yeah,
that's a lot easier.
I think without a doubt, if you have a terminal illness, you should have the choice of euthanasia. Because if it's a terminal illness or like just say stage 4 cancer or whatever, you know you're going to die. It's just a few months. In those last few weeks of you having the cancer, your life is miserable. You're horrible. You're in pain. You know you're going to die. Whereas if you live 2 months happy and then you decide, okay, now I'm going to end it, at least you end while you're, quote, healthy compared to what you would be in a few months' time. You go out on your own. You go out on your own choices as well. You know, it's your own decision.
Yeah. And you would actually have the benefit of if you're ending it on your own terms and you're still like within some sort of a mind, you can properly say goodbye to your loved ones.
Exactly.
When
Yeah.
when it gets past that point and you can't say a word back or potentially can't
Yeah.
hear anything
It can
from
happen at
them,
any day.
that's that's a whole lot worse.
Yes.
But yeah, I think on that note, are we
Yeah,
all good on that
I
one?
think so.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Next question comes in from Princess. I think this is kind of more for Beardy because when Beardy was here, who would most likely kill each other when living together? So if the three of us lived each other, who would be most likely the person to kill? I I don't know. I mean, is Beardy violent?
No, he's not.
I couldn't imagine Beardy being the one. Maybe me. Maybe I'd kill somebody. I don't know.
When living together, Princess, more context.
If me, you, and Beardy lived together, who would kill first? I don't know. I don't get the question.
I don't know if it's
We'll
us.
come back to that another time. Do you want to go ahead with the next ones?
I'd say me. I'm I'm probably the wild card there. Another one coming in. What are your thoughts on how women approach problems versus how men approach them?
Is Beardy coming in to talk shit?
No, it was my kid.
Oh, okay. How women approach problems versus how men approach them. Can you paint it that black and white?
Oh, uh, in some aspects you could, but like it really depends on the guy and woman for that matter. Like some are going to be more straightforward, others are going to be more thinking around the problem, how to approach it. But I'd say most men would try to figure out the most uh direct approach to a problem, even though it might not even be the hardest. Like their direct approach might be a more difficult way than
Yeah.
a more thought out one.
I agree with Pete on this one. Hello, Pete, by the way, welcome in. He said, I believe everyone approaches problems differently regardless of gender. That's exactly what he
Yeah.
said at the start. Like, can we paint it black and white? Like, men, women, that's it. There's only two. You know, I think it depends on the person. It depends on how much empathy the person has. You know, do they think of other people when they're making this decision?
Oh, what's the question? What are your thoughts on how women approach problems versus how men approach problems?
I think women approach problems more with their feelings than men.
Which is probably a good thing, but it can be a bad thing as well. And it's bad that men sometimes don't do it with feelings, but it can be
Yeah.
good as well.
Yeah,
But I think
it can go
it's
either way.
it really is a 50-50 thing, I think.
Yes, but like everybody's different. Like for every like stern-hearted man, you're going to have a stern-hearted woman, and for every super timid man, or super timid woman. You'll have like one of each. Like
Yeah, I think people
genders
make
aren't
choices rather than genders, you know?
differently.
Alright, next question, Perception. Keep it going.
If you were hired as a secret agent by the government, would you help keep the secret from your family?
Yes,
You're
if I knew, like, just say I had to sign something, like a non-disclosure agreement, and it said, you know, if it had basically, like, threats in it, as in, you know, there's serious consequences to this, I probably would, just for my own family's safety.
suppose, I suppose you would. Like if it's for your family's safety, like yeah, I guess you would. But I think of has anyone seen the whole Bob Lazar thing? The guy who supposedly worked in like Area 51 and like done stuff with fucking like he able to like try reverse engineer like spacecraft and all that stuff. That's fucking crazy. And I'd almost like nearly believe him if you watch it. Like for he's kept up the same line of thinking and the like hasn't contradicted himself like once in 40 years or fucking like more than that. I'm not even sure. But like, how can you not contradict yourself for like 40 years? But he brought his whole family into it and everything as well. And he's just like living out in the wilderness now, trying to keep away from media and shit like that.
Mrs. Beardy?
Um, I don't know. I don't. I feel like I would be able. I would want to tell my family just so that they know what's going on. I don't know. I guess it depends on what the information is.
But would another variant be like, how much could you actually trust your family to
Well, I
keep it?
can trust my family. Well, I can't trust my kids. I mean, I can pretty much.
Yeah, because kids can be loud.
Yeah, I can trust Beardy, but
But like,
I would probably definitely tell him.
So you tell Beardy, but not your whole family.
Right. Yeah. Are we talking in immediate family?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, well
yeah.
then yeah, I definitely would.
Okay.
I guess so. Yeah, I'd like to like if I was with my partner, my significant other, like hypothetically, and I got this job, and fucking I don't know, I got into some place and I found out like that was given information like yeah, JFK was planned by the government. I'd be like, oh damn, I'd have to tell
Spicy.
that to someone. So I'd be like, yeah, I'd tell my partner. I'd just be like, "Well, just fucking zip it, keep it zipped." But I don't know if I could keep like such sensitive information like to myself. I don't like freely give out information, like personal information, like ever. But like something like too spicy like that, I'd be like, ooh. I feel
That's a
like
good one that Bag said. Just say you knew they were planning an attack on a festival that your family was going to. Would you be able to keep your cover then? I don't think so in that case, no.
As long as you're able to just like warn your family not to go.
Yeah, maybe if you can like somehow coerce your family not to go, rather than hey, there's gonna be a fucking bomb there.
Yeah. As long as you didn't start like warning other people. Might be
Okay.
okay. But since
Next
it's family.
question. We spent enough time on this one. I think this is a great question. I read this a few days ago and I thought it was great, and I have my answer already. I'm skipping one question to get to this one. Which would you choose? Either a cure for cancer or find an end to global warming?
Global warming.
Miss Beardy?
I think global warming. Let's go global warming.
Yes. Okay, all three of us went global warming then. Any reasons why, Perception?
Well, I'd guess like eventually we'll figure out like a cure for some form of cancer. I don't like the whole like blanket statement of let's find a cure for cancer.
Yeah, every
There's,
cancer is completely different.
there's different kinds of cancers out there. We have to find like a cure for every single one of them or each of them, whichever
Okay,
you
well
want to
then
think.
let's change the question. Find a cure for every single type of cancer or end global warming?
I'd still go with end global warming.
Yeah, me
too.
too.
Me
Same.
too.
Yeah.
It's like
I'd rather not have a cure for cancer deaths. The reason why, not everyone dies of cancer, but global warming is going to kill everyone. Everyone will die from global warming. Not everyone will die from cancer.
Like, it's not going to happen in a generation or two. It's going to have a couple of generations. But like,
and if we solve global warming,
the end of the human race.
Yeah, the human race is going to live. Whereas if you don't solve global warming, if it got really bad, the human race will end. Everyone will die. Cancer won't even live. Everything will die.
You can't control nature. Yeah, true, but you can like somewhat control humans.
And the humans are the causing global warming.
We're the cancer on this planet causing it to die. Like, Earth doesn't have, like, Earth will find a way to like fucking ice age itself or whatever, but it'll come back stronger every time. But like, it's not going to come back stronger after we're done with it. It's just going to like cease. It's going to be a molten rock of dirt and shit. We're nothing to live.
Well, over here you can even see like where we're at. You can see like the seasons starting to shift. So I just remember back in the 80s, Halloween, it was always like freezing cold. It snowed a lot, and then like it would get like warm in May. So now it's like October. So for instance, yesterday it was 60 degrees out. We were in shorts and short sleeve shirts for Thanksgiving. It was like warm, unseasonably warm. Halloween, last year Halloween was like 70 degrees. But like the seasons are starting to shift, whereas like over here they say April showers do usually like last year we didn't have snow at all. We had absolutely no snow, which is kind of uncommon. But it usually we just get like, it's almost like the West Coast of the United States where it rains all the time. So we are now starting to see a lot more rain. So like March, April, May, it's just constant rain. Even like the summer times, it's like very rainy, more so than normal, but it's also warmer. And the fall isn't as cold. It's almost like you go from like, I don't know if I'm like just rambling on.
No.
So like the winter times aren't cold anymore. Like we barely get snow. It's only cold for like January, February. And then March, April, May is just complete rain. Whereas it never used to be like that. It used to be like we would get rain maybe in like April. But now we see like a lot more no snow and a lot of like damp, dreary days. So it's like not what it used to be. But we get a lot more rain. We get a lot more rain than we used to.
What I was showing on stream there as well was the global average temperature per year from 1880 to 2020. And like, yeah,
that's nuts.
It's fucking crazy, like
nuts.
But yeah, so that's the reason I choose to fix global warming over cancer.
Yeah.
If you solve cancer, you'll be a legend. But if we collectively fix global warming, we'll all be legends.
But like, even on Mrs. Beardy's point of like the seasons changing, do you notice them here, Dax? Like, say, like winter's late coming. Like, our winter doesn't start till January and doesn't end till like March or April. Like, that's when it'll get like the coldest. And like summer here doesn't end till September, October.
Yeah.
When like I'd nearly be sure when it was younger, it was colder when it was actually supposed to be colder. It's kind of being, would you say, be pushed back? I don't know what way you'd put it, but they are changing.
If you find a cure for cancer, you'll be long dead before cancer makes money. That brings... Sorry, I'm going to go on a tangent here. What do you think of the whole thing of there is a cure for cancer, but they don't want to show people because they make so much money from cancer?
I totally agree that. I 1000% agree.
I think it's absolute bullshit. I think there is not a cure for... If there was a cure for cancer, they're just going to charge you through the wazoo for the cure anyway.
No, because a cure is a one-time thing. If you need treatment for it, you're going to need to pay that treatment.
Yeah, but just say they found a treatment that 100% gets rid of your cancer. Mm-hmm. It's not a cure, but it is a treatment. They're going to charge for that anyway. That's my opinion on it. And then you look at the richest people. Look at fucking, what's his name, Steve Jobs. He had cancer. He's a multi-billionaire. I'm sure he could afford it. And, you know, if there was a cure and he wanted it, they could be like, okay, that's $10 billion. And he would have paid for it, but he died. So.
I don't like. I'd somewhat buy into the possibility that there could be. But like as of now, like from what we know, there clearly isn't. And we don't know of anyone who has been like magically cured of cancer beyond like the treatments that we know today. So I don't know, but I would not be objective to the whole thing of like there could already be a cure for some form of cancer.
Yeah.
Well, not even so much cancer. I think for even like more minor things, there could be cures for. But they make more money off of even like something minor. I mean, there's no cure for the common cold. Still to this day. I mean, there's treatments for it, but you can't physically cure it.
Yeah.
So I just think that there's some things, not specifically cancer, but I definitely think that there's some things that there could be cures for that they just don't want to cure because you spend more money with drugs and pharmaceuticals, constantly taking therapies for it all the time. They spend so much more money. They get more money doing that than they do actually curing something.
But then why create drugs at all? You know?
The therapeutics, so that you keep spending money for these drugs.
Yeah, but they work, right? Like there is
They
stuff
suppress if they don't actually cure it.
Oh yeah, but apart from cancer,
doesn't wipe it out.
Oh yeah.
Yo, Mullet, thanks for the host, man. Raiden. Oh, Mullet's raiding? Nice. Thank you, Mullet. I don't know why that came in as a host instead of a raid. Thank you, Mullet. Yeah, no, I think if somebody found a cure for something, it's impossible, I think, to keep it hidden. Like, just say somebody does find a cure for cancer, yeah, they go to a government, the government body's like, hush, hush, we want to make money. The person that found a cure is not going to be like, okay, yeah, that's no problem. I think they're going to tell friends and family, and those people are all going to spread it, you know, and there is a cure, here it is, here's all the evidence. I just think, unless they just fucking kill the person that found a cure. I don't know. I just think that if there was a cure for cancer, they'd use it and they'd just charge you a shit ton of money for it if they wanted to make money. Or only the people who earn 100,000 a year can get this, you know? If you want to put it behind a price barrier.
I suppose it's one of those situations where it's like, it's really like a Schrodinger's cat kind of a deal. We don't actually know until we see the cure for.
Yeah, Bert, don't tell me to wake up. There's zero evidence. Like, apart from people on Facebook thinking about it and people's opinions, there's no solid evidence to show that there's a cure for anything. And I'm a scientific person. I believe in evidence. So if there's no evidence for something, I don't believe it. If there is evidence that I can look at, I would believe it. But as it stands, there's no evidence. So.
Like there's evidence that like it can be, depending on like what it is, it can be cured depending on how early it's caught. But like, just like if someone's in like stage 4 terminal, they only have a couple of months or years or weeks to live. There's not something that they can just go, boom, you're good, it's all right, live your life. There's nothing like that.
Well, there is evidence. I mean, some people over here in the United States, they go to other countries because it's cheaper and because they have, I don't know about like everything or what specific things, but there's people from this country that go to other countries because this country won't approve a certain treatment that is shown to work. I don't know. It's all weird. But I definitely think that there's stuff that they suppress.
No, I think there is definitely treatments in other countries that does work. Like, what is it? Macrophages, is it? Microphages, I think if you look it up, they actually do cure a lot of diseases and stuff, but they're not approved by the FDA or whatever in the States, so they're not allowed to use them. But then you go to Russia, you can use them, and they have great success.
Oh, you can't trust the FDA over here, though.
Yeah.
They say stuff is safe, and then all of a sudden it comes out, oh, this causes cancer. Like this over...
That's like the whole thing of people saying about the COVID vaccine. People are saying if a vaccine came out, I wouldn't take it. You don't know the long-term effects.
Yeah,
but then some people would say they'd rather get COVID instead of the vaccine. But the thing is, we don't know the long-term effects of COVID. Like, you know, like in 10 years' time, people's fucking lungs could be exploding. Like, we don't know. Yeah. It could be either way. Yeah. It could be bad. So, but then if you look at the people who got like polio vaccine and stuff when they were younger, it's now what? How long since then? I don't know when that vaccine came out. People haven't just randomly died. I trust I'd go with a vaccine in that case, but that's a different topic. We're not going to go into that.
Just before we end, and you were on that, fucking the different trials kind of thing, and like changing shit around.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard of this Chinese technology called CRISPR?
CRISPR, no?
Where basically they're trying to like change the human genome to be able to like prevent itself from getting like different diseases, or even like modify the human genome to be like stronger in different areas. So like, uh you could have a child, but you can basically program that child to say like have whatever color eyes, whatever color hair. You could like, there's a genetic trait that judges like how tall, how short you are, and all this.
So
They
you can
could
basically
like,
genetically modify your kids before they're born.
yes, but like it's getting to the point where so far you don't even have it doesn't have to be like a fetus type of a situation for it to work. You can be like in the middle stage of your life, and you could get this and change certain parts of you now, but they just haven't got that far. And they're supposed to be using it on like inmates on, say, like fucking death row or something like that, or people can volunteer for it. And they're
China volunteer.
doing trials and shit like that. Look it up, CRISPR.
CRISPR, cool. That's
Yeah.
crispy. Right, that was a good question. Right, so we are. What time do we start? Like 10 past? We're about 50 minutes in, so we'll probably go for maybe another 20 minutes or so, half an hour. Is that okay with you, Mrs. Beardy?
Yeah.
Cool. Next is what makes breakfast breakfast?
While you're doing that one, I'm going to take a quick pee break. I'll be back.
Death, a lot of people don't realize that breakfast is break fast. So if you're fasting, so a lot of people fast when they sleep for 8 hours. When you wake up and eat, you're breaking the fast, hence breakfast. So like,
I never thought of it that way.
yeah, so if you just fast for any amount of time and then you eat, that's your breakfast because you're breaking the fast. Roxy, can I get 5 head in chat, please? What makes breakfast for you, Mrs. Beardy?
I guess breakfast is just basically my first meal of the day.
So
That's
would
what
you
makes my
consider your
breakfast.
so just say you slept in, you were hungover, you slept in for 4 p.m. If you ate then, would that be your breakfast or?
It would, yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Cool. So it's your
Our
you just see your
breakfast-
first meal then as breakfast.
Yes, in this household, breakfast usually happens at like noon, 11 o'clock noon, when that's considered lunch.
Okay. So
Yeah.
it's kind of time dependent then, or?
Well, Beardy goes on a very time thing. So, like, if I'm late cooking breakfast, which I usually always am, he says, "Oh, it's lunchtime." So immediately after I cook breakfast, he's like, "Well, it's lunchtime," and I said, "Well, no, it's still breakfast time. This is the first meal, you know." So then I'll cook breakfast, and it's noon, and then by 12:30, he's like, "What's for lunch?" I'm like, "I just fucking cooked breakfast. So what are you talking about? What's for
This
lunch?"
Beardy guy's a real asshole.
Tell me about it.
Beardy, you said 1 hour 14. Is that how long we're into it at the moment? So why would someone say they're eating breakfast before dinner? I don't know. That's some stuff.
I take the thing of, like, when I get up. Like, when I get up, I'm gonna have breakfast. It's not like as much like time dependent. If I'm up early, I'll try make it time dependent, but usually just whenever I wake up, that's breakfast time.
Yeah,
Cool.
same.
Okay, so next question is from Death again. Would humans be better off speaking one universal language? My answer to that is no, and we already do speak a universal language, I believe. I think English is universal. But I think we won't be better off. Diversity, stuff like that is just so important.
I think almost universal. Most play it like, I suppose English is probably like the most universally known, but it's like one of like the Chinese languages, like Mandarin, Cantonese, something like that. Since they are like over like 1 billion fucking population, one of them is like over English, or maybe Arabic. There's one that I think is over English, but I can
Actually,
be
yes.
open being wrong.
Cantonese.
Cantonese.
I think it's Cantonese. I think Cantonese is the most spoken language in the world, but it's not the most widespread.
Yeah. Well, I think widespread is definitely English.
Yeah,
I'd say.
without a doubt.
Have to be.
Mrs. Beardy, what's your opinion on the English language? Or having a universal language?
I really don't have too much of an opinion. I just think that yes, English is, I guess, the most what's the word I'm looking for? Universal language.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. So yeah, it's most spread at the moment. So
yeah, that in Spanish.
How old are you when you stop giving a fuck about who sees you naked? I think maybe slightly older than me. I'm starting to kind of get to a point where I'm like, I don't really care that much. But I do care a small bit, so maybe like 30. Something like that.
I'd probably say I'm probably there already. Even like a couple of years ago, I probably would be. As long as it's not like direct family, I'd be like, yeah, fair enough, okay. It's just kind of like to do with like the group of friends that I hung around it as well. Like it wouldn't be like uncommonplace to just like fucking send like a dick pic to each other and just be like, ha, you see my dick.
Lol. You looked at my dick, you're gay. Lol.
that type of way. So yeah, let's put like if someone's like whip it out, pussy, I'd be like, okay.
Mrs. Beardy, do you still care?
No, I'm past that point, I think.
And when did you reach that point?
I guess like 35.
30 to 35. Wait, Perception, when did you stop caring? Like 25? 25 to 35. We're going to go with that region when you stop caring.
Yeah, I suppose 28 now, so yeah.
Perception, you can read these next questions because they're actually from you.
Okay. What are your opinions on post-nut clarity?
Mrs. Beardy, do you have post-nut clarity?
Do women get post-nut clarity? That's actually...
I don't know what that means.
Post-nut clarity, right? Is you know what nut means, right? If you're like if you're watching a nice porno, right? And you get to the end, you're like, oh, that was great. As soon as you finish, you're like, oh man, I'm disgusting. What is wrong with me? That's post-nut clarity. Or like, what did I just do? What was I watching? Does that happen, women? I don't know.
I don't think so. No.
What is post-nut clarity? Is it like shame?
I don't think it's even like down to that, where it's like just like sealed off to like porn. Like some ways like you can use like some ways that I've used it before is if you're messaging on Tinder or something like that and you're getting along with someone well, but like you're a bit horny, like, so you're like messaging whatever, and like you can be sexting or not sexting. I'm not saying that we are sexting like in this conversation, but like it could come down to a thing of like where you'd be like, oh, this person's fairly fucking hot, like, yeah, and we're getting on grand conversationally wise, and like later on in the night you'll crack one out.
Is that you asking Beardy, did he order pizza?
Yeah.
And you flashed kids at a water park? Nice.
I did not flash. No, I did not. I went down a water park slide. I went down a slide at a water park, and apparently my nipple was hanging out, but I had no idea. And until he told me.
No idea, lads.
I really didn't know. And until he told me, apparently.
Well, Perception, I get what you're talking about. Like, if you're sexing somebody, literally, dick brain is a thing. Like, you literally, like, as soon as you get a boner, your brain just, like, thinks differently.
Yeah.
And then as soon as it goes away, you're like, what was I talking about? Oh, no, I'm not into this.
Yeah, like, you could be texting, like, for a while. It could be a day, couple of days, whatever. But, like, you could be talking to this person, you could crack one off, and you're like, why am I talking to you? Like, that type of way. It sounds really fucking awful, but it happens.
Yeah, Roxy, it's the thing. Like, if you're actually attracted to the person, that, it feels great. But sometimes, like, it could be, if you're sexting to nobody or something, you're like, oh yeah, let's, oh, I'm so horny and all this, and then as soon as you're finished, you're like, man, really? Like, what? Why did I say that? What was that? Like, it slightly changes your opinion. It's like beer goggles, like dick goggles.
Yeah. But like, if you crack one off and then you're like, yeah, and you can like carry on as normal and be like, yeah, I still want to hit this. You're like, I know I'm after something good.
This is good.
But I'd also agree with Roxy. I don't usually watch stuff where I'd crack one off and nut and go like, what the fuck did I just watch?
Yeah, when it goes to the black screen at the end of the porno and you see your reflection in your screen, you're like, what the fuck? Beardy, did you order pizza? That's what did he answer you?
And breaded wings. Make sure he definitely gets breaded wings. That's all I want.
Breaded wings too, Beardy.
Yeah.
Get on it, bitch.
He didn't answer me.
Porn always
Roxy,
goes
you
in the
can't
incognito
see-
window. Sometimes I don't look at porn in incognito. I don't give a shit.
No, usually I have it on incognito.
See, the reason why, sometimes if you
Unless
watch it in
it's my
incognito, it's a
OnlyFans.
really good scene. And then you, like, 10 months later, you're like, oh man, what was the name of that scene? And you can't fucking remember it, because lads, it's not in your history. Sorry, boys, you're never watching that thing again.
Bookmark it. That's why you make a bookmarks folder.
Yeah, Mrs. Beardy, you can just talk. If you want to say something to Beardy, just say it.
Oh, yeah. Order the sweet Thai chili wings. And make sure you get the wings extra crispy, please.
Bitch.
Breaded wings only.
Bitch. That's what she's meant to say at the end.
Yes. I call them a lot worse than that.
Excuse me now.
James, join Dax's Discord if you're not already joined. And go down to the Tins&Gins topics. Post your questions in there and we will eventually get to them.
Don't mind me. We got to redeem for the shirtless stream, so just sorry, Miss Beardy.
Who done it now?
Evers. Evers, yeah.
Okay.
James, sorry, if you're on the Discord server, we have a Tins&Gins text channel. You can go in there and submit the questions. Okay, so
next question is, what are your most annoying first world problems? So do you have anything that, like, it really does not affect anything in your life, only for the matter of fact, like, it's such
inconvenient.
Inconvenience. Yeah.
When I wake up in the morning and I forgot to plug my phone in and it's on like 5%. That is inconvenient though. That's not really a first world inconvenience.
Well, I mean, a lot of third world countries probably don't have phones, yet alone chargers.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. Mrs. Beardy, do you have any first world problems?
Not that I can think of. When I like, does it count? Like, do you guys have DoorDash over there?
No, but I know what it is.
Okay.
Mm.
So my DoorDash account got hacked. So they hacked into my DoorDash account. They took all my information. So make a long story short, someone on the other side of the country had ordered pizza at like 1 o'clock in the morning. I had to get my account shut down. When I tried to reactivate my account, then they hacked my bank account. So I could turn this whole thing. So I can't order, make a long story short, I can't do DoorDash anymore. I had to cancel my account totally. So now I have to get in my car. If I want coffee, I have to physically get into my car and go get coffee. Like go to Dunkin' Donuts.
Disgusting.
I cannot DoorDash my McDonald's breakfast in the morning anymore or DoorDash to get coffee. Like I have to physically get the kids dressed, get in the car, and go. And I hate it.
When I have slow internet sometimes, oh man. Oh boy. Like my internet's fine 99.9% of the time, but that 0.1% when it's slow, man, that's inconvenient. That's just not good enough. Sorry.
Yeah.
Perception?
Mine would be like in around the same. Like there'd be a list like slow internet. When I'm playing something and my loading times are complete and utter ass. Even though it takes like 2 or 3 minutes, it feels like a lifetime to load into something. What are the first world problems? Oh, they're I'm fucking looking right at one. But one of my biggest ones is I got a Mass Effect Andromeda Collector's Edition back there 3 years ago when it came out, and the RC card that they have for it is one of the most fantastic pieces of tech you've ever seen. Like if you like RC cars, it's like fast, really responsive, and it even has like a little thing where you can a camera in the nose of it so you can see where you're driving when it goes out of your own view.
Okay.
Except they made the controller so it's an app on your phone connected to Wi-Fi. So that has a Wi-Fi responder in it going to your phone and has a distance for like 30 or 40 meters. But they discontinued the app and they have like I've been harassing them for years trying to see like
Well, that is inconvenient.
when are you going to bring the app back? I can't use this thing I spent 200 fucking euro on, you complete load of ass wipes. And like they're like, oh no, sorry, we're not going to be continuing the app. Like, is there any way to like I don't know, like open it up and do something so I can connect like a real remote control to it? And they just won't get back to me on it. They've had enough of my shit, and I've had enough of theirs. That's probably one of my
Actually, you know what my
biggest
biggest first world problem is?
One,
My phone charger is slightly too short, so when I'm in bed, I can't hold it here. I have to slightly lean to the right. Oh, it's the worst.
Oh, I have the same problem.
Ah, man. Talk about fucking shit time. Okay, perception. We'll do like 10 more minutes and then we'll finish up.
Okie doke.
So, where are we? Can you do a handstand? This is going to be a quick one. No.
Nope. Beard, can you handstand?
Me? No, I can't handstand. I
Okay,
absolutely cannot.
that was quick. Have you ever had a near-death experience?
Oh,
No.
how many?
I remember back when we had a hardware store, we had basically a big ass shed outside in the hardware store, and there used to be cisterns. You know, cistern on the back of the toilet, like the bit that you flush off of, like that big chunky bitch. And we had them up on shelves, like really, you know, outdoor shelves that are like really wide, really big. And I had to like crawl through a crawl space underneath them to get something. I think it was like some power cable went down there, and I went to plug something out, and I was crawling under it, and I dropped my phone. So I had to turn around and pick it up. But as I turned around to pick it up, a cistern fell from the top shelf and landed in front of me. And it like smashed to pieces. So like if I was stood forward, maybe I would have lived. But I would have took a cistern to the scalp. That would have hurt. Or it would have killed me. So I don't know. Beardy, did you order food? I will talk for your wife. Did you order food, you bitch? I need that Gatorade as well. Bitch. I don't like your beard. Go ahead, perception. Give us one.
Oh, I'd have two prominent ones. I'll just go over them.
Wait, while you guys are talking, I'm going to get another drink because Princess is telling me to hydrate. So
I'll just go over mine like kind of quick. So one was from a couple of years ago, probably from like 7 years ago. And was up in Dublin visiting some of the lads, and we're walking back to their place. And we're just walking along one of the side streets in Dublin, and from out of nowhere, I just felt like one of the lads. He grabbed like the back of my hood and pulled me back, and he really jolted me back like out of nowhere. And he's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And he just goes, "You nearly got hit by the bus." And he's like, "What bus?" It was already gone like around the corner by me, and it's just like, oh fuck. So that could have been me just like the dump straight ran over by a Dublin bus. That would have been pretty sweet. The second time, well, the other time, most prominent, would have been only it's either 2 or 3 years ago. Probably one of like my biggest like regrets ever. But it was me and my ex were after going to go see Slenderman when that came out, and was dropping her at home, and got a bit promiscuous, and then we hopped into the car and we were going like to like one of the kind of lookout fucking spots. So we were kind of frisky in the car on the way to one of the lookout spots, and it was raining, and I can't really remember. I just remember Rosanna by the Fratellis playing in the background, and I was kind of looking over at her, and then she kind of like looked ahead, and she's like, "Oh shit!" and I was like, "Oh god!" and I pressed down on the brakes, and the ABS didn't work, so the car kept going forward, and I tried to pull a bit to the right hand side, and we were going heading straight for a ditch, and we hit a telephone pole, went through the ditch, through a farmer's gate, and went into a field, and the airbags went off inside of it. The dust was flying around. It was fucking crazy. The first thing I like would have done is like fucking Jesus, like, are you okay and everything? But we got out, we were fine, but okay. She had like a minor bit of whiplash because she had like this Ehlers-Danlos syndrome thing, which is basically like stretchy tendons all over your body. But the telephone pole came down, and it actually done like, I can't explain it, but like a big like massive scrape that you'd see in like a horror film, that would have went like straight through like the roof of the car, and it was on her side. So like we both nearly died, but like even worse, I nearly killed her at the same time. So that was like a really fucking big wake up call there. So yeah, that was not even my near death experience, but nearly killing someone else as well.
Oh, that's scary.
Woo.
Oh wow, disco. What's going on?
Yeah. So yeah, that's mine. Drive safe, everyone. Don't get frisky in a car. Wait till you're in somewhere stationary, and yeah. don't do me.
What the fuck did I just come in with? Getting frisky in a car. Okay.
Yeah. You can see that bit on the VOD.
Okay. I think that might be a good spot to end. Looking at the next questions, I think it's a good way to start the next episode. What do you think?
Go with that.
Yeah, cool. Okay. What did my mom say? She actually wasn't in the kitchen this time. I avoided everyone, princess. It was great. Yeah, guys, that's the episode of Tins and Gins. James, we work from the oldest to the newest, so your one might be in the next episode. That's the episode of Tins and Gins. Thanks everyone for watching. Mrs. Beardy, do you want to sign off?
I don't know what to say. I'm probably not a good person to sign off, so.
Just say
I'm new at
thanks and
this, so.
goodbye.
Okay, well, thank you guys for coming out. Goodbye. We'll see you next time.
Bye, YouTube. Perception.